Welcome everyone to the Black and White History Podcast. We are your hosts, Christian and I thought you were gonna drink the whole thing.
No,
just for that.
Wow, that's rude. Why would I do that? I'm Jordan.
And we are on the second part going through our top 10 favorites war movies list.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely check out our first one, the 10 through 6 if you haven't, and make sure to like and subscribe as well for more content and to make it more worth it for us to keep doing this. So.
Yeah, I mean, it freaked me out when we crossed 50 views. I'm like, who are these crazy people watching this? Why would you do this? We're rambling so much about Horatio Gates.
Yeah.
My number 5, this is one that you may disagree with, but I will fight because I'm right, is Kingdom of Heaven.
In the face of your enemies, safeguard the helpless, even if it leads to your death.
Okay, is that the Crusades?
Yes, specifically between the Second and Third Crusade, depicting the lead up to the fall of Jerusalem, with Orlando Bloom and Liam Neeson and that other guy. Those are the two main guys.
Was that Ridley Scott?
I believe it was.
Okay, I know. I have not actually seen that.
What?
I know, and part of it is, I don't know. I know a lot of people are really they hate that movie.
Who hates that movie?
Because it
bring them to me.
It negatively depicts the Crusade side of it, but I haven't seen it. So,
it doesn't.
Okay, maybe I'm getting confused with something else, but I'm pretty sure Ridley Scott. That's why I'm remembering it.
I mean, if it does, then I don't know. But I mean, it's.
I might be. No, I'm pretty sure it's this one. But
Edward Norton is King Baldwin IV.
Maybe. Or I've heard that are just people who are like, the Crusades, nothing wrong at all. So if you have one single thing to complain about.
Oh, no, of course. Because they did a bunch of stuff wrong. You can't say. First of all, there were a lot of Crusades, and in all of them, everyone did something wrong. So let's not pretend that, Jesus' commandment was to go crusade for a piece of dirt where he died. That's not what he was talking about, but whatever. No, so Kingdom of Heaven obviously is about it's right after the Second Crusade, into the Third Crusade. And it is a fictionalized story. There was a Baron of Iberlin, but it wasn't that guy, and it wasn't this story, and he didn't do this and that and the other. But Salahuddin or Saladin was the leader of the Muslim army, so that's historically accurate. And there are some historical figures that existed during those times. Their actions and attitudes probably were not 100% accurate, but. No, it's number one. It's a medieval.
I think that's our first one. Is a non-American.
Yeah, outside non-American and outside the 19th century.
Yeah.
So it's a medieval movie. So sieges and swords and arrows and stuff. And I think number one, I really like it. The filming, the cinematography is really well done. The story is really well done. If you do watch it, watch the director's cut. It's worth watching the director's cut. It's not that much longer, but it is definitely worth it. I like it because I just like medieval history, but also because more than the war, the Crusades were a religious war. Mm-hmm. So you have very deeply held religious beliefs on both sides. Both believe they have a claim to what they're doing. Both sides did horrible, horrible things to because the Crusades are basically to fight for Jerusalem. Jerusalem's a holy site to the Jews, the Muslims, and the Christians. Obviously, it was the Christians first because Islam didn't exist until 600 years later or so, but still. But they laid claim to that holy site too. And so, all these other wars were political. They did have some, the Civil War had some, religious undertones, freedom. The Revolutionary War was, again, freedom and equality and this, that, and the other. And so there were religious arguments to do war, but this was we're doing this because, in the movie, it's God wills this. We have to go kill these people. God wills it, the Deus Vult. God wills it. Yeah. So, so it is interesting, and, we're Christians, and so, we've read the Bible, and they had the same Bible back then, and so, it's just a very interesting series of wars with interesting motivations, but without guns. So it's very interesting from a filmmaking perspective and just from it's fun to watch people's heads get cut off with swords sometimes.
Cool. Okay. Well, I haven't seen it. Maybe I'll check it out.
You should watch it. It's a good watch. It's worth it.
All right. Number 5, Glory.
Okay.
I love Glory.
Okay. Well, not. Apparently, you just average
Sure,
like
I
it.
guess I don't love it as much as 1 through 4, but
Mhm.
yeah, Matthew Broderick, kind of like
That's a
him
breakout role.
stepping out of his comfort zone kind of a
Yeah.
role. I mean, he did, a few years before this was Ferris Bueller, so this is kind of like his I'm a real actor
Yeah,
movie thing,
yeah.
but it actually worked out
Very well.
Very
well.
Denzel Washington,
Mhm.
Morgan Freeman.
Mhm.
I mean, great cast. Obviously, so it's about the Civil War and the whole. It was all black people were his whatever you call it
Regiment.
and so obviously that's like it's crazy that even happened, and so Matthew Broderick is the commanding officer for that, and it's basically just them like trying to figure it out. I mean, these are all just like, I think they were all freed
Yeah.
men, but they were
Former slaves.
but they not ready at all for combat,
Mhm.
and not ready, and it's kind of like this time of the war where it's like we need anyone we can get
Mhm.
kind of thing, and so I think it does a really good job having good taste depicting that. There's some like pretty difficult scenes,
Mhm.
obviously the Denzel being whipped. Scene and everything, because he like tries to escape and gets it's like he's still held to they still need to hold everyone to standards,
Mhm.
even though they're freed men, and
Yeah.
it gets kind of convoluted with that. It's also interesting because the battle at the end is basically them trying to like go up this hill
Mhm.
to
It's the Battle of Fort Sumter.
the Battle of Fort Sumter. So and the whole movie is kind of just a metaphor of like this uphill battle and everything. So like of course the third act is all kind of about that, seeing that literal.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, it was a kind of a failure.
Mhm.
Everyone's killed, as a result of the Union side of it. But I think it does a really good job, just how the build-up goes with that, and just like how the uphill scales of it. So, yeah, I highly recommend it. It's really good. It's kind of like a similar Gettysburg kind of thing. It's really historically accurate. It's not super violent. It's I think 89, 90, so it's kind of still kind of that kind of 80s
Yeah.
kind of feel to
Yeah.
it and everything. But yeah, I think it does a really good job, especially with the historical accuracy. I mean, even Frederick Douglass is in it.
Yeah, he is.
Everything.
It's
Yeah,
like,
so
I'm
it's-
Frederick Douglass. Goodbye. I'm
Yeah.
not in the movie ever again.
But yeah, it's one of those movies. Like I said, there's kind of a mix of how much entertainment versus historical accuracy. And sometimes I'm in a better mood for one over the other. I think this one probably balances maybe more of the historical versus the entertainment.
Yeah.
But I think it does a good job kind of keeping. It's not super long. It's like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's easier to get through. And yeah, I would highly recommend.
Mhm.
It's a great story, great cast, especially from Morgan Freeman was already really established, but Denzel is still pretty fresh
Yes,
in
early
his
in his
career.
career.
Stripes on a... It's like tits on a bull.
You're looking at a higher rank, Corporal. And you'll obey and you'll like it.
Everything. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk more about Glory.
All right. All right, number 4.
Number 4 for me is Fury.
Sergeant Collier, I'm your new assistant driver.
Tank school? That's home.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's a tank one with John Bernthal, Brad Pitt, and I keep wanting to say Elijah Wood. That is not who's in there. Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Number one, it's unique because it's a tank movie, and it is mid to late war against the Germans, and they're in a Sherman tank, and the Sherman tanks were very light, they were very fast, but their guns were underpowered, and they had they had more armor than a car. It was still a tank, but they were fighting against Tigers and Panzer tanks, and those were just fortresses with giant guns. So basically, like one shot would take that tank out. And so the tank battle action is super, I don't want to say super historically accurate. There are some accuracies where, like, you know, in the beginning where anti-armor guns are shooting, like Germans are shooting at the Sherman tanks, and if they're not, you know, if it's a glancing blow, that big old round just skips off the armor. Like that happens for sure. But also, like, it'll mess the tank up pretty bad. It's like, oh, pew, I just took a little shot off the shoulder. Like, no, it hit you, but you didn't knock the tank out. And then the Sherman tanks had to outmaneuver the Tiger tanks and shoot them in the rear or in the side. But that's kind of a big thing. So the Americans basically, it took 4 or 5 Sherman tanks to take out one Tiger tank. They were that mismatched in power. So the tank battles were super accurate. Were not super accurate. They were pretty accurate, very engaging, very well shot. And then sort of the 4 or 5 person crew in the tank, like, this is our house, this is where we eat and sleep, this is where we fight, this is like our whole world is in this little tank, and we're all crammed together with a bunch of gunpowder and diesel fuel. We're in a rolling bomb with a cannon strapped to us. So how are we going to do this? We're in close quarters, and just the drama that unfolds kind of about the war. The young new guy who's in the tank having to literally like scrape the face of the last guy out of the tank that he's about to get into. Like the conflicts of killing people in a war when you didn't want to, you don't want to. How Brad Pitt and the other guys are war hardened and have lost all their humanity seemingly, and he's trying to maintain his, and that whole story. Yeah, it was just really well done. I really liked it. It was unique, and it kind of came out of nowhere. Like, yeah, so I really like it. It's one of those movies. I put it up higher, higher than other movies that may be more historically accurate, maybe more dramatic. But it's one of those movies, like, I've watched it multiple times. Like, I'll see it, yeah, I'll watch that movie instead of watching something new. So that's why I put it up number 4.
Cool. Number 4 for me is 1917.
I hoped today might be a good day.
So, obviously, just kind of adding everything you said. Again, I've said this a few times now, but I like movies that try to do different things. So the whole gimmick on this is, you know, it's all like one continuous shot, basically. So you can kind of see a couple parts where you're like, oh, okay, I think there was a cut there. Like, that was an awfully big tree that they walked it, you know. But it's pretty easy to kind of, there's some parts where it's like, this has been going on for like 20 minutes. Where the heck is a cut? You know? And so it's not distracting on the parts where maybe you can kind of like figure it out now. But yeah, great story. I mean, I've been following these 2 characters. One who's like, has way more courage and ambition and is just like mission focused, and the other person who's more cowardly and just like skittish, and then he ends up having to take over and finish out the mission because the guy who is way more adept to it ends up dying. And so seeing that kind of as an arc happen halfway through the movie, I think was great. By the end of it, you're kind of just like biting your nails. It does a really good job. It's almost like he's almost kind of too late, almost, you know.
He basically is.
Yeah. And so, and I think it's really cool how, because these are pretty unknown actors, and because they're just like privates, basically. But then you have like a few, I know in particular, off the top of my head, Benedict Cumberbatch is in it. He's like a really high-ranking general. And I think that was a really cool way of illustrating that, like, oh, this is like a really high-ranking general who's Benedict Cumberbatch, who's only in like one scene of the movie. And you can kind of see like the power difference, you know. And so, and he's like, no, there's no big grand entrance. He just like spins around.
It's like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, right. And so it's like, oh wow, like, yeah, I think that was illustrated really well.
Yeah.
And yeah, kind of one of the, it's not super gratuitous, but it feels really real. I mean, going through the no man's land thing, and yeah, so I really enjoyed it. It's one that I've seen multiple times. I know Sam Mendes. I think I remember seeing that, like, the story itself isn't necessarily like true, but it's kind of like
it's illustrated.
It's illustrated from stories that his grandpa used to tell him from when he was in the war. So he kind of like pulled from a lot of that and everything. And so I thought that was like a really cool, like, honorable way for him to kind of go about it. So yeah, it's a good movie. It's not real political. It doesn't really matter like who's fighting what side
Mhm.
because you're following the British, but it doesn't matter. It's like there's just these two fish out of water
Yeah.
characters.
It could have been literally anyone from any side.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
My number, is it number 3?
We're no, top 3 now.
Top 3, okay. So my number 3 is Glory.
All right.
So for all the reasons that you said, it's my number 3, so I know more about it. The 54th Massachusetts Regiment is the first all-black volunteer regiment in the Union Army, and that is historically, that's true. Matthew Broderick is Colonel Robert Shaw, and he's like a Massachusetts socialite kind of guy. He was at Appomattox or it might have been Gettysburg. I'm not sure. It was a big war, and he's like traumatized from it, so he wants to, and he was injured. So basically, he could have sort of like ridden out the rest of the war. He got his honors. He did his thing. He's got his glory. He doesn't need to go out and do this, but he and his father are like in tight circles with abolitionists, and then I almost said Christmas addicts. That's early. Frederick Douglass makes his cameo there, and he's like, okay, yeah, we got to do this. This is the right thing to do. I will go back to war, even though I'm afraid, and all that stuff. So there's his personal story arc, and then you get into the other characters who are freed slaves. Denzel Washington's like an escaped slave, kind of almost. Morgan Freeman is a gravedigger when you meet him in the first part, and now he's a soldier, and then he becomes a sergeant, so
Yeah.
a non-commissioned officer in the Union Army.
I love how well he like just kind of takes control.
Yeah.
Of everything.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's good because he kind of does that even before he's promoted, and so they recognize that he has that leadership, and then they promote him. Like, yeah, this is how it's supposed to be. The best person gets to lead. Just because you're black or were a slave 5 minutes ago, well, now you're free, and we're going to treat you the same. And that was not the case. Certainly not in the Civil War, and definitely not even up through World War II, where Truman ended segregation in the Army. So that was like in 48 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it's just it's well shot, it's historically accurate, it is a compelling story. You see all the character developments, like his childhood friend and kind of butler's servant, Thomas, is not a good soldier, but then at the end, he is right on the front lines, fighting just like every other soldier, so you see his progression. Denzel Washington, who like deserts the army and then comes back and is whipped like a slave. But again, it's the equality thing, because any other soldier would have gotten flogged too, so it's like a whole thing. The rough Scottish drill sergeant who trains them.
Yeah. I didn't talk about him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny
Super
because
prejudiced.
He's
It's
super-
almost like, why are you on me?
yeah, he's super precious. He's got great insults to them. That's super funny, but like. There's a scene where Matthew Broderick like pulls him aside and is like, I think you're treating them too harshly.
I have no doubt that you are a fair man, Mulcahy. I wonder if you are treating these men too hard.
The boy's your friend, is he?
We grew up together, yes.
Let him grow up some more.
And the sergeant's like, listen, they need to be trained because they're gonna go fight. So if I'm mean to them, that's nothing compared to what's gonna happen when people who want them to be slaves again and are now trying to kill them. What I'm doing is nothing compared to that. I have to do this to train them. It's not really even personal necessarily.
Right. It's like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
You really see the different perspectives, but it's like they're both kind of right. It really depends on,
Yeah,
you know.
like you are treating them very harshly. You
Yeah.
would not yell and scream racial motivated slurs at white soldiers. You just wouldn't do that because you wouldn't do that. But drill sergeants are supposed to be like historically, stereotypically, are going to be hard on you to break you so that you can become a soldier. And so, yeah, he's not nice about it. He probably doesn't really like black people, but he's doing his job well, and then that shows out in the movie. So there's so many more parts to it. There's so many little scenes. It's definitely worth a watch. I watched it the first time in, I think, middle school, and then I watched it over. It's one of those movies I will watch over and over and over again.
Nice. Yeah. All right, my number 3 is All Quiet on the Western Front.
The new one or the old one?
The new one, the 2022 one. I've seen the 1931 once.
You still think it's beautiful and sweet to die for your country, don't you?
I know, like
Kind of drags.
yeah, and it's obviously it's 1930, so you're gonna get what you're gonna get. you know?
Wow, all quiet on the Western Front. Hey.
yeah. I know that the book is. I haven't read the book, but I know it's like not at all, or very little of it is like the 2022 version.
Yeah.
I don't care. I didn't read the book. I'm just judging it as the movie.
Yeah.
I think the movie is absolutely fantastic. I think it's perfect watching it just in the German language with
Yeah.
subtitles. I never watch foreign movies like with dubbed. It just like that's just too much for my brain. So it just feels so inauthentic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really great. I mean, right in the beginning, it just really dumps you into just the depression of war, because it's like it has some really great shots. The cinematography is just like fantastic.
really
But you have like this drone shot looking down that's all kind of snowy and peaceful. You see some birds, and as it kind of goes up the yards, you just see like no man's land where it's just dead bodies everywhere. Then it just skips to they're hauling all these bodies into these trucks, and they're taking their uniforms off, cleaning them, and just giving them to the next soldiers coming in. And it's just kind of, it really well depicts like, yeah, you're just a number, you know, and the blind nationalism with it, and no one really knows what they're fighting, but they just get all riled up because their president or the prime minister, whoever is like getting all riled up, and so that's just why they're fighting, and they have no clue what they're walking into.
Yeah.
And even when they like, there's a scene in there where the main guy, I can't remember his name, but
Gunther.
yeah, he's there's like some French people, you know, pretty far away, and they're like excited. They're like, oh, I think they're out there. Like, you know, they're just like so like giddy and like no idea. And then by like throughout the whole movie, it's just like the horrors of war are just like weighing down on them like so quickly till the end, to where it's just kind of like they just don't even care.
Yeah, just kill me. I don't want to live. in
Obviously,
this anymore.
there's a really famous scene that's still in the 1930 version where you have this French soldier and a main German soldier in this hole, and he's like stabbing him, trying to kill him, and then he like realizes it's a good humanizing moment where it's like, oh no, this is a person.
Yeah.
And he pulls out his little handbook and sees like a picture of like his girlfriend or wife or whatever, and he tries saving him, and then but it doesn't matter, and you know, so he's kind of just walking the rest of his life just with the weight of just like, is this justified or is this just murder? Like, you know, so I think there's a really cool way where they show the disconnect from like the politicians and the soldiers, where even the when they signed the I'm blanking, the end of the war treaty.
The Treaty of Paris. I think.
No, that's Revolutionary
Treaty of Ghent?
Yeah. I'll put it up on the thing.
We'll annotate it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like blanking, but and just the politics of that, where it's like, well, you know, it'd be really poetic if we waited 6 hours, because then, you know, the war would end on 11/11/11.
Yeah.
You know, and then just like there's such a disconnect.
Like
on,
5,000 people died in that 6
Right.
hours because you just want to make a point.
Yeah. So I think that was done really well. And I know, I guess none of that part I guess was really in the book, but I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's a great movie. And it's one, like, when you see, one of my favorite scenes in it is they're approaching like all the tanks are starting to show up, and it's like the first time they've ever even seen a tank.
Yeah,
and like
what
that
in the
build
hell
up,
is that?
Yeah, and I think that build up was like was great.
The ground shakes and like stuff is shifting.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
World War One, man. It was just wild. I think too, kind of you follow them through like really excited to go to the war, and like you said, like sort of the boyish like, we're going on an adventure with my friends.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be great and awesome. And it's like I just can't do it anymore. It's too real. And then the humanization. You know, I feel like you get bits and pieces of that in like Vietnam, like movies like We Were Soldiers, where like they find this Viet Cong's, or I think it's like the National Vietnamese Army or whatever, whichever one it was, and he like looks at it and he sees like you said, like the picture of his wife, and he's writing letters and the humanization of it. But I think World War One is kind of the first, probably not, but the first film depiction of like, oh, we don't really know what we're fighting about, and this is just another 19-year-old kid who is basically just like me. And then, you know, in World War One, you have the Christmas Day truce, where it's like, hey, we're just gonna decide not to fight, and like, hey, we actually get along really well. We're really just like farmers and like stable boys and whatever. Like, we're just regular people who, in any other context, would probably get along just fine. but people way above us have pit us against each other for reasons we don't understand. And we're fine today, but tomorrow I'll have to hit you in the head with a shovel until you're dead. Like, that's a crazy, it's a crazy thing. And, shell shock or like PTSD is a thing. And you can sort of see how you take a random English countryside person and put them in the deadliest, scariest, most hellish environment anyone's ever seen. And then, oh, war's over. Okay, go back home. Like, there's no way. There's no possible way. And then back at home, everyone's like, oh, what, are you like a coward? Like this, that, and the other. Like all, that's a theme for war. Like, I think in modern wars, we're more understanding of that sort of stuff. But, until fairly recently, it was sort of like, what? Killing 30 people with your bare hands messed you up? What are you, some kind of puss? Like, what's wrong with you? It's like, whoa, dude. Like, this is so far removed from what I've envisioned for my own life and what like the general human condition is. It's a marvel that I'm even able to speak or move at all. So yeah, very well done. Really great movie.
Für uns alle.
Right.
My number two is Black Hawk Down.
You know better than that. Your safety should be on at all times on base.
Well, that's my safety, sir.
Okay.
Which was your number 8 or 9, wasn't it?
Number 9.
Shame on you. I will agree with you. There are some like cheesy Hollywood. This is my safety, sir.
Well, I'm here to kick some ass.
Delta boys are undisciplined cowboys and blah, 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 blah. It is strange to see Lucius Malfoy as like a Texas sergeant, but whatever.
It is one
It's
of
a
those
massive
stacked
cast.
Yeah.
It's a massive
Almost
cast.
everyone is like
Ewan McGregor, Josh Hartnett, Orlando Bloom's in it for 5 seconds and he falls out of a helicopter.
Eric
Bana, William Finkner.
Yeah.
Who else?
You just can't tell exactly who they are once they put their helmets on.
Yeah, that's true. Well, like...
Aside, like, a few of them.
Yeah, Eric Bana and William Finkner are... You can tell who they are because they have the black bicycle helmets.
Yeah.
And everyone else has regular army helmets. You can tell I've watched this movie a few times. The thing that really pushes it to the top for me is the... So it's the Army Rangers and the Delta Force. So these are like special forces. These are not normal Army guys. So they're highly trained, but also like those guys are really, really young. And like the Gulf War was in the 80s, early 90s. And this was a few years after that. I think it was like 94, 96, somewhere in there. So like these guys have not seen a lot of combat, if any at all. And they're young and they're going in for like a humanitarian mission. So like the cause is just, it's a surgical team. And we're going to go in and get this one guy who's going to lead us to the warlord and this, that, and the other. And we're going to save all these people. And the mission completely blows up because of, multiple factors. Like everything's going fine. And then one Somalian guy with a rocket launcher on a roof takes down a helicopter. And the helicopter crashes. Well, now the entire city of Mogadishu is descending on these guys. And their whole thing is no one gets left behind. We're not going to leave you out there. We have to go get you. Well, now we're fighting an entire town. An entire city of people who are not happy that we're there. And we don't have enough equipment because this was supposed to be an in and out 20-minute mission. We don't have water. We don't have grenades. We're not wearing armor. We were going to fly in. We weren't even going to drive. We were going to fly in, get this guy, drive out, be done. So
an RPG just comes flying.
It comes flying out of nowhere.
Okay, I guess we're
staying. And then they hit another one. So there's 2. It just keeps cascading and it's just worse and worse. And there's thousands of bad guys. And it's sort of like the first kind of depiction of like these guys aren't in uniforms. These are just civilians who picked up guns. Like, who do we shoot? Well, the people who are shooting at us. There's rules of engagement where we can't just indiscriminately shoot people. There's innocent people walking by. There's kids and whatever. Like, this is craziness. And then you get the stories of heroism. So Shugart and Gordon are I don't remember if they're Delta or Rangers, but they're snipers and they're in a helicopter. They're providing cover, picking off people who are trying to get to the downed helicopter. And these guys are completely cut off. So they're like, look, we're going to go down there to the ground to get the people who are injured in the helicopter out of the helicopter and defend them until the rest of the army can come get us. But there's thousands of people and they're just 2 guys. The cinematography is is good for me. It's gritty. There's explosions and blah 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 blah. You feel the panic. You feel the chaos. Like I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It does get muddy with like I don't know who's who. But there's enough for me, at least. There's enough character development. Like, okay, I'm starting to get an idea of who these guys are, and I want them to succeed. Ewan McGregor, fish out of water, like he's a typist, and now he's with like a Delta, like highest tier, highest trained soldiers, and he's like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go with you guys. So the chaos of war, heroism under fire, all that good stuff. It's got the whole package.
Nobody has to be a hero. It just sometimes turns out that way.
My number 2 is Hacksaw Ridge.
What the hell is your delay, Captain?
We're waiting, sir.
Waiting for what?
Private Doss.
Who the hell is Private Doss?
Okay.
I love Hacksaw. It's funny, like our Black Hawk Down and Hacksaw Ridge, like we basically have them like swapped. No, I love this movie. Obviously, you know, kind of touched on a lot of it already, but I think Andrew Garfield. This was kind of like his Matthew Broderick.
It was.
kind of movie thing.
I'm not just Goofy Spider-Man.
Yeah. Obviously, he did like Silence, and there's a couple other things, but that's pretty more like low budget indie kind of feel. This was more of like a big movie, you know.
It was big.
Yeah.
It's a big movie.
Well, he does a really good job, like just coming across as so like doughy
Yeah.
and boyish and just like naive and you know.
I'm not gonna pick up a gun, sir.
Yeah.
And Vince Vaughn says, no!
Yeah, Vince Vaughn is probably beside Andrew Garfield is like the definitely like the standout character.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let me see your Indian war cry, son! I don't...
every Vince Vaughn movie is him being Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing him in this movie. I didn't know he was in it the first
Was that the
time.
dodgeball guy?
Yeah, I was literally like out loud, being like, "Oh, I didn't. That's that Vince Vaughn." And so he comes across like really well. Like I mean, it's comes across as kind of a he's a drill sergeant, so you know. But yeah, I thought this was a he did. I'm glad he didn't just play Vince Vaughn as a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously you understand both sides of Dawson, Andrew Garfield's character is. Because you know most of the people in the movie too are like also Christians, and there's a good scene where Sam Worthington, who's in it, who's like, "Hey, like I agree with this book. Like I believe in this book just like you do. Like you have to understand, like you can't just go into war and not kill anyone. Like I think you're just misinterpreting." And it's like it doesn't matter. Like that's the conviction that Dawson had, and I think it's an interesting point with that is he doesn't really tell anyone else like, "Oh, you're all wrong for doing this." It's like, no, I get it, but that's not what God called me to do. And so I think it's a good illustration of just how sometimes God just convicts us in different ways, and it doesn't necessarily mean other people who are convicted differently are wrong. It's just you know he has his children like in different areas in life and uses them. We're not all just robots, you know, in the same calling. So I like how much buildup there is to where there isn't any the war doesn't even or the big battle in Hacksaw Ridge doesn't even happen until halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
So seeing just like all the training and like all the obviously the character development with everything is really well done. I would say there's like probably a couple things. This is like more of a me thing than anything, but I wish that they used actual squids for
instead of
the
CGI.
blood. Yeah, it's a lot of CGI, and that kind of because the battle is so like realistic and just so dark and grueling. Like I think they should have just used squids with it instead, but. So maybe that's why it's not a good one. But it's still really well done. And like I said, even after the battle's done, Andrew Garfield does a really good job portraying someone just in shock, and it's very convincing. And yeah, it's a really great feel good heroic story. By the end of it. So, and I'm surprised that no one's done like a movie about him. This movie came out like 2016 or something, so it's that's still pretty recent, and it's a pretty incredible story.
Yeah, it's so. They had to. Mel Gibson even said like, I had to tone down what he actually did because the thing like he won the Medal of Honor, so like all the things that he did are documented, like government documents in the citation that you get that they read when they give you the Medal of Honor, and like he saved 75 people by himself, under fire. Like it's there. I found myself in the movie, like even though I knew how it ended, it's like there's just no way. Like even on accident, someone would have shot him. He would have gotten too close to a grenade. Like something would have happened to him to prevent him from doing this. And then it's just very clear, like, oh yeah, no, God has a call on his life to do this. So God is making a way for the impossible to happen. again and again and again. I think it's really powerful when it's just like, I just want to get one more. Just let me get one more, God. And he's like, all right, he does, until he gets everyone off. And like you're not injured, like you didn't pull a hammy doing that. You didn't, just all of it. There's no way that that's possible. And it's not through like lack of trying. Thousands of soldiers in every war have wanted to help their fellow soldiers and get them off, and they just could not do it. But like this specific guy, and there's again thousands of stories where some miraculous things did happen that we just don't know about. So I'm not saying that he's the only one, but like this specific one, where it's so clearly like, God told me to do this. I don't know why. This really sucks. I'm not smiling and enjoying my time here. And yet, oh yeah, now I see. Like, God had me go through this so that I could be here to do what he called me to do where no one else could have or would have. So it's well deserved at number 2.
Help me get one more.
All right, you want to do like an honorable mention?
Yeah, I'll do honorable mentions.
I have one honorable mention.
Okay, well, after you do yours. Well, no, I'll do mine. I'll do mine. My first honorable mention is Restrepo.
Don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's a documentary.
Oh, okay.
So it's a film. It's a documentary about I want to say it's like forward operating base or like outpost Restrepo in Afghanistan. So it's Global War on Terror, but it is like just some like soldiers with a camcorder, and it's rough going, man. And they're in a really isolated, really dangerous. They're always under attack. They don't hardly have supplies. They don't have showers. They have to like dig holes and like cover it with plywood, and it's just rough going. But it's just a real like boots on the ground. Like this is what the war in Afghanistan is like here, and this is what it's like. It's like there's no glorification. There's no nothing. It's like, hey, this is what it looks like when one of our friends is dead now. Like this is what it looks like. When there's no orchestra playing, there's no music, there's no platoon, like, whoa,
Yeah.
like it's just, that guy's dead now.
Right, yeah.
Like what happened? He got shot, that's what happened. So yeah, that's my
Go ahead.
first honorable mention.
Yeah.
Second honorable mention, Crimson Tide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's weird because Crimson Tide is, number one, it's fictional, but sub-warfare in like the Cold War in the 80s and such, it's kind of like the Zero Dark 30. It's a different kind of war. So the movie itself is more of a thriller, and it's not really about we have to find it's not like The Hunt for Red October. It's more like internal political drama, like who's in charge of the sub, and who we got a half message about sending a nuke because we're on a nuclear submarine, but it's a half message and following orders versus, hey, this is starting a nuclear war that's going to kill everyone, like back home, and we're not going to die because we're at the bottom of the ocean, but like, do we follow orders? Do we launch a world-ending event? What we don't know, and so yeah, it's a good movie. Denzel Washington, Gene Hackman, R.I.P. Gene Hackman. Viggo Mortensen's in it.
Oh, okay.
He is. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. So
I think I've like seen it. Like it's one of those movies that I've caught like on cable.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah,
But I
it's
haven't
definitely-
seen it in a really long time.
probably on TNT.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my second honorable mention. My third honorable mention is Tuskegee Airmen.
Not sure what that is.
You wouldn't. So the movie Red Tails,
Yeah.
that's the Tuskegee Airmen.
Oh, okay.
But this movie was made in, I think, the late 80s.
You don't want to put Red Tails? I do know what Red Tails is.
No, I don't want to put Red Tails on that. That movie sucked. But this movie
Dang it,
is...
now that you mentioned it, I have to find clips of Red Tails and put this in this video. Now.
that movie sucked. Clip of Red Tails. No, Tuskegee Airmen, it has Cuba Gooding Jr., it has Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh, okay.
And it's basically
I didn't realize there was more than one movie about that.
Yes. Yes, there is. It is one of those movies, kind of like Glory. So it's the first all-black. It's the Army Air Corps. They didn't have the Air Force back then, but they flew the P-51 Mustangs, and they did bomber escorts. And they were so good at the bomber escorts, like keeping the enemy fighters, the German fighters, away from the bombers, that the bombers started specifically requesting the Red Tails, and they're called Red Tails because they painted the tail of the airplane red. But yeah, also just kind of like Glory, where you're black, so you can sort of like just do. You're not gonna see actual combat. You're just gonna sort of do this. Meh. You can't. You're not as good as white pilots. Well, then they are, and so and just like glory, like through action, through actual like combat service, they prove themselves. It's a whole story, and the P-51 Mustang is the superior World War II fighter. I will be fought on that though. The Spitfire is probably pretty good.
All right, is that all three?
That's all three.
Okay, I'll do I have one honorable mention. The Patriot.
Okay.
I will 100% defend that movie. It's
Yeah.
the only Roland Emmerich movie that I like. I do not like Roland Emmerich at all. For those who don't know, Day After Tomorrow. The disaster.
I like Day
film.
After Tomorrow.
1998 or 9's Godzilla.
I didn't like it.
Independence Day.
Great soundtrack on that one.
2012. Anyway, you
That
know
one
enough
sucked.
too. But for some reason, The Patriot, just everything, like I wouldn't expect me to say this, but I love that movie.
Yeah,
It's one of those, obviously, you know, it gets a bad rep because it's not like historically accurate and
No,
stuff.
not at
I think the movie's not really about like the war.
No,
really
it's the spirit of the war.
Well, and it's about just like, you know, the Swamp Fox and just his specific situation and just like the revenge tale that
Yeah.
he's after and everything. And so if you just like watch it with that, it's obviously like summer blockbuster and stuff. There's like slow-mo, like, you know, he's like dodging stuff. And, like, you know.
Did you just Matrix a cannonball?
Yeah.
Kind of, yes.
My sons were better men.
But yeah, it's great movie. It's one of those that I've seen like 100 times.
Yeah.
And I'll like still watch it.
Mhm.
Yeah, Heath Ledger is great.
Oh yeah, he's in that movie too.
The guy who plays Tavin.
Oh yeah, Tavington.
That
From the Queen's Dragoons.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the King's Dragoons.
It's Malfoy's dad.
Yes.
That guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jason Isaacs. Yeah.
Absolute like
Oh,
such a good
love
bad
to
guy.
hate him.
He's
Love
almost
to
like
hate
a Bond villain.
He is.
You know,
He is.
set and-
He is also that same guy in Black Hawk Down.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
right. Yep, he
that's
does
his
that. And so yeah, he does a really good job. Like I said, you have to. I'm sure it makes a lot of British people mad. That movie
I mean, that's a skill issue. Get good. If you had won, then you get to make the movies. But you didn't, so you don't get to make the movies.
They could have done a couple things. I mean, you know, the character of Benjamin Martin, who that's kind of based on, like was a slave owner, but they like go out of their way to not only say, like,
Oh, they're not slaves, honey.
Yeah.
They're just helpers
Right.
that we don't pay.
well, it's like they have like a whole scene where it's like all the black people working on those crops are like, no, we're free men on this. It's like
All slaves of the American colonies who fight for the crown will be granted their freedom.
We're not slaves. We work this land. Freedmen.
you're going like out of you're like stepping over yourself. Like it's fine. We know
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's not about that. They like raise their hands. We're not slaves, by the way. It's like, I think you're right.
Anyway, so maybe more of a guilty pleasure. But
No, it's a good movie. It's an undoubtedly engaging movie. Again, one of those movies. It's not like a war movie, but still very good.
Lord, make me fast and accurate.
Cool. Okay. I bet we have the same one. Let's just say
We,
at the
we
same
better
time.
have, we better have the same number one because if this is not your number one and it's not on your list, I'm gonna hate you.
Oh man.
Okay, we'll say on three. 1, 2, 3.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, we gotta do the thing. You son of a bitch. Bleep that.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, let's just geek out over Saving Private
we
Ryan.
got a couple minutes here.
Tom Hanks.
This movie changed. It's like the Apocalypse Now, but like 20 years later, this also changed war movies forever.
It did.
You can watch it now, and it looks like it just came out.
Yeah.
Like it. I mean, everything about it. It really stands the test of time. I mean, Steven Spielberg. Tom Hanks, Matt Damon. The cast is just insanely big.
Tom Sizemore.
Yeah, it's even Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel's in there.
So, kind of another simple plot. We got to find a guy to get him back home, kind of thing. But it's done. There's so many great set pieces. There's so many iconic moments. And I mean, the D-Day thing. Obviously, it's like it's just one of those like film school movies. And like it's like I don't even know what else to say about it. It's like everything's been said, about it. But yeah, obviously it's definitely like always going to be the number one movie or war movie of all time kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
it really is. I mean, for all the reasons you said, the like from the beginning, you just dropped into D-Day, and I like that you're on a boat, and it's not even with like the main characters necessarily. There's some of them, but like. The ramp drops and the MG42 is just they call the MG42 Hitler's buzzsaw because it just mows people down. And it's just, this is impossible. They have hardened fixed positions with machine guns. There's no way we're going to get up across this open space, climb up a mountainside, and then win. And then they did.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, it introduced the shaky cam, which
Yeah.
has been overdone,
Right.
but this was perfectly done.
I mean, there's a famous, like, some of the reception of it was, there's like World War II veterans that like walked out of
Yeah,
the
they can't
theater
watch
because
it.
it was too realistic.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like the perfect balance of like realism and entertainment. So
Yeah, it's the character arcs that even, you know, where you don't have a big exposition dump on any one character necessarily, but you are so invested in them that when they start getting picked off one by one, you're like, okay, who's next? And they go on this, you know, they go to take that pillbox. It's like, okay, there's these 5 characters that we all know and love that we're invested in. We've already lost a few people already.
to say one person.
To say
we
one
lost.
person,
Yeah.
and then you have Upham, who freaking hates Upham. But he's like, we're sitting here with the camera next to him because we don't follow the action. We just hear the gunshots and explosions. Like, who are we gonna lose?
Mhm.
What? And it captures that dread. And then, yeah, there's so many. It's so well done. The practical effects, I guess some practical, some special effects of, you know, like there's no glory in it, but just like people's limbs getting blown off, like
Yeah.
people in shell shock, like a dude carrying his own arm, like these things happen. These things are, and you're getting a glimpse into it, and yet, hey, we still have to get off this beach. We're all gonna, that guy who just got blown up, that's gonna be us if we don't move into machine gun fire. Like it's crazy. It's, yeah. And World War II is really like the rock'em sock'em.
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of made World War II put it back in the mainstream.
Yeah.
Like it started, you know, for those watching who are familiar, I mean, it started like World War II video games with Medal
Yeah.
of Honor and
Yeah.
everything. Like it was
Every World War II video game has to start with D-Day landing.
Yeah.
That looks exactly like Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, so it's like it's more historically known, even past just like movie, you know, for all of culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really changed culture, you know. So I mean, I can think of maybe like one little tiny flaw in it is, you know, most of the soldiers are all kind of like too old. To
Yeah.
be, you know, it's kind
Yeah.
of it was kind of before like you look at All Quiet on the Western Front. Everyone's like actually like in the early 20s and stuff, playing 18, 19-year-olds. There's a lot of like, if they say Private Ryan, a lot of like mid 30s, 40s
Mhm.
guys. So it's like, but you know, you can look past that like really easily.
Mhm.
So yeah,
It earned all the awards it got. I think World War II, like they don't call them the Greatest Generation for nothing because they really did a lot of great stuff. I always enjoy the European theater versus the Pacific theater. Is a different kind of war. It was very different, but I think also it spawned like, I mean, Band of Brothers was a book, so like that movie didn't spawn that, but setting the tone for what a war movie, especially like a World War II movie, is like, set up Band of Brothers, that miniseries, which is great, which also set up the Pacific, which is less good in my opinion, but still good. There hasn't been a war movie like that since,
yeah,
or probably before too.
right. So
Number 1, well deserved.
there you go.
We did it. It was
All
only
right.
9 hours.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Again, make sure to like and subscribe.
Or don't,
And,
whatever.
yeah, if anyone has wants to comment any ideas for other types of videos like this, it's fun to kind of branch out of just the timeline.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. You know, American history kind of drags. It ebbs and flows. I mean, who really wants to hear about Alexander Hamilton? Was he the next one?
No, we're gonna be doing James Madison.
No.
and
See?
War of 1812 and stuff. So
Yeah. Do we get to sing the song?
I don't know the song, so.
In
you get to it.
1814, we took a little trip along with
Oh, okay.
the
that's great. Well, yeah, that'll be a Patreon.
I'll just sing the song for the Patreon. It's $10 a month, and it's just that song. That's all there's on it.
Okay. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and see you next time.